My name is Mansoor Ahmad, and today I will talk about the mechanism of cellular respiration. Most of the students ask me, what is ATP? ATP is a high energy nucleotide. It is formed in the body when ADP, adenosine diphosphate. When a phosphate is attached with ADP, adenosine diphosphate, it is converted into a high energy rich molecule or energy compound ATP, adenosine triphosphate. For some reasons, our body convert ADP into ADP because ATP function like a gasoline in the body and powers all the biochemical reactions in our body. For example, energy is required for muscle contraction, energy is required for generating nerve impulse, energy is required for cell division, energy is required for cell growth. From where this energy comes? This energy comes from an energy rich nucleotide known as adenosine triphosphate. So, how ATP is formed in our body? By attaching a phosphate with adenosine diphosphate. The energy is required to form ATP, and that energy comes from a process, a chemical process of cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is the breakdown of glucose into carbon dioxide and water plus energy, and that energy is utilized to form ATP. Now C6H12O6, it is the molecular formula of glucose, a common sugar or carbohydrate. Glucose or carbohydrate, glucose is broken into 6 individual molecules of carbon dioxide. So, when the glucose is broken into low energy molecules, carbon dioxide, energy is released. And there is a chemical term for this reaction, we say oxidation and reduction. When a molecule loses hydrogen atoms along with electrons, this process is called oxidation. So we say glucose is oxidized. Glucose is oxidized into carbon dioxide. Remember, oxidation is OIL. Oxidation is loss. Oxidation is a loss. Loss of what? Oxidation is loss of hydrogen plus electrons. So when glucose loses its hydrogen atoms along with a pair of electrons, we say glucose is oxidized into carbon dioxide. So why we inhale oxygen? What is the need of inhaling oxygen? Because when the glucose is oxidized into carbon dioxide, the cells cannot release this hydrogen into the cells, because this will increases the acidity of the cell and it will kill the cells. So these hydrogen ions are transferred to oxygen with the help of a coenzyme NAD. It takes hydrogen atoms in pairs and transfer to the oxygen. Technically, NAD is called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, but everyone says it is NAD. So NAD is a coenzyme. It is a coenzyme. What is the function of NAD? It transfers hydrogen atoms to the oxygen. And when these hydrogen atoms are transferred to oxygen, you will end up with water. How water is formed? When this oxygen, these hydrogen atoms are transferred to oxygen. So there is another term for this process, reduction. Remember, it is RIG. Reduction is a gain. Gain of what? Gain of hydrogen. So when oxygen gain hydrogen by the way of an enzyme NAD, so we say oxygen is reduced. Oxygen is reduced into water. So remember, cellular respiration is oil or rig expiration. Oxidation is a loss. Reduction is a gain. When a molecule loses hydrogen atoms along with electrons, it is oxidized. When one molecule is losing, the other is gaining. So oxygen gains the hydrogen atoms, so it is reduced into water. And when the sugars are broken, energy is released. And this energy is utilized to attach this phosphate with the adenosine diphosphate and converts it into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Whatever so the energy is released during this breakdown of glucose, only 40% of energy, is utilized to form 38 ATP. When the glucose is broken, it releases energy for making 38 ATP. And whatever so the energy is released, only 40% of the energy accounts for formation of 38 ATP. So what about the remaining 60% of energy? The remaining 60% of energy is loose as heat. The remaining 60% of the energy is lost in the form of heat. For example, when you are doing exercise, when your muscles contract rapidly, you are sweating. From where this energy comes? This energy comes when your glucose is broken into carbon dioxide and you are exhaling that oxide at the faster rate, and at the same time you are inhaling oxygen at the faster rate, and some of the energy is utilized to form ATP and the remaining energy is lost in the form of heat, and you are sweating in the process of exercising. Now this cellular energy, energy produced from the glucose is utilized to synthesize ATP, and these are the ATPs, adenosine triphosphate, which power your muscle contraction, which power your cell division, your cell growth, and all the biochemical reactions are powered by ATP. They are biological energy currency. And let's see how these energy-rich nucleotides ATP provide energy for muscle contraction, for generating nerve impulse, for the process of cell division, for the process of cell growth. When adenosine is formed, then it is broken. It is broken with the help of an enzyme ATPase, and the reaction is assisted by calcium ions. When phosphate bonds are broken, ATP is broken into adenosine diphosphate plus phosphate, and energy is released. That energy power all the biochemical reactions in the cell.